Di ba nadakip daw kanina si Ma'am Pauline Canada? No. Nadakip kanina, mga alauna. Na-inform ako, may nag-text sa akin na member ng KOGC, leader po, mga alas 2:45. So ang ginawa ko, pumunta kaagad ako doon sa Camp Katitipan. No? And tumawag muna ako pala kay General Torre. Hindi ako nasagot. Nag-text ako, hindi ako na-answer. So pumunta ako doon, nag-fill up ako ng form because I wanted to confirm kung nandun ba talaga sa kanila. Hindi ako na-meet ni General Torre kasi wala daw siya. Yung kanyang secretary na pulis ang nag-meet sa akin. At sabi, wala kami nadakip. Sigurado kayo? Wala kami nadakip, sir. Fake news yan. Ganun ba? Di nagsabi, nag-text din ako sa ating mga miyembro po. Fake news daw yan. Hindi totoo. Attorney, merong video po. Hindi siguro alam nila na may naka-video.
Ito yung pinapanood na ngayon.
Oo. So, tinawagan ko na naman si General Torre. Hindi rin ako sinagot. Natatakot na ako. Sabi ko, baka anong ginawa kay Ma'am Pauline? Maganda pa naman si Ma'am Pauline. At saka baka i-torture. We have the right to assume that because he is now under police custody and under Republic Act 7438, Section 2, any person arrested or detained shall at all times be assisted by counsel. And we have the right to insist that because that is a provision of the law, Section 2 of RA 7438. So, nag-request tayo, hindi tayo pinakinggan, nagpadala na tayo ng formal demand letter. Hanggang ngayon, wala pa ring reply. No? Gusto lang namin pong ipaalam, baka nakalimutan nyo lang po. No? Under Republic Act 7438, Section 4, any violation of Section 2 of the said law, no? Ang penalty po niyan, hindi po, 8 years imprisonment to 10 years po.
Yung pagtatago ng
yung hindi mo siya bigyan ng access.
Yung abogado.
8 years imprisonment up to 10 years. May fine 6,000 pesos or a penalty. Tapos, General Torre, I hope you would not take this personally. May absolute perpetual disqualification pa naman yan na hindi ka na makabalik sa gobyerno. So sana po, alam ko, nasa Manila ka, pero nung tinext ko yung isang kaibigang general, sinabihan ako, Padre, bakit i-deny i-reported dito sa Camp Crame na nadakip na si Pauline Canada? Nandito yung text sa akin. Na-report na sa Crame, pero dito sa Camp Katitipan, sinabihan ako, hindi totoo yan, attorney, fake news yan. Saan na kaya ngayon si Ma'am Pauline?
Okay, you don't mind, alam mo si Bongbong Marcos is really his father's son. No, para yung mga desaparecidos, parang ganun yung nangyayari.
Siguro magandang i-playback natin yung kasi nakita ko yung
baka hindi nila alam yan.
Yung humuli, naka-uniforme ng pulis. Yung pinagsakyan ng mga pulis, mobile car number 488. May logo. Baka RM, yun? Regional Mobile Field Force Battalion yan Field Force. Police Regional Office 11. So hindi pwedeng itanggi na hindi Region 11 ang humuli. At saka magandang sabihin na rin siguro sa mga nanonood, hindi po nagtatago yung hinuli, nasa bahay siya hinuli. At saka may witness. So hindi pwedeng sabihin nila na nagtatago, ilabas nyo. Nasa mga bahay lang hindi lang marunong yung mga nanghuhuli nung nakaraan. Kung saan-saan sila pabalik-balik, 5 beses lang bumalik dito, ala naman dito yung inahanap nila.
Opo. Without offense meant, kasi tumindig ako kasakagaya ni Atty. Topacio, mga kababayan. Tumulong po kami sa SMNI, sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ, in my own volition. Ako po'y na-recruit sa naratibo ng martial law ng CPP, NPA, and DIP against sa tatay ni Bongbong Marcos Jr. But during the elections in 2022, tinindigan ko po, nasabi ko, hindi lahat ng mga naganap sa martial law ay mali. Maraming mga tama doon at kailangan. Pero ito, hindi ko na ito palalagpasin. ang paggamit ng abduction or enforced disappearance, pasintabi po sa mga ma-offend nito, ay totoong nagaganap pati ang torture. It may not be ordered directly by Marcos Sr. himself, sa panahon ng martial law, but there is a principle, may dalawang abogado dito, na tinatawag na respondeat superior. Command, responsibility. At bilang head of state and head of government, pananagutan pa rin niya ang abuses kagaya ng enforced disappearances. Ngayon, Mr. Marcos Jr., nauulit po ang mga pattern na ito ng paggamit ng abusadong instrumento ng Estado, coercive apparatus of the state like police, para ipatupad ang enforced disappearances. May mga batas kayong nilalabag at ito po ay isang mataas na akto ng hindi makataong pagtrato sa mga suspetsado na mga individual na mamamayan mismo ng Estado. And that is a high crime on the part of the President. Now, Mr. Marcos Jr., Binhor Abalos, and General Marbil, kailan nyo haharapin ang ganitong mga matataas na antas at malulubhang paglalabag sa mga karapatan ng individual sa mamamayan? Suspitsado lang pong taong ito. And for them to be treated this way, hindi po nalalayo na ganito ang gagawin nyo, na paglusob at pananakit posible, at huwag sanang mangyari po. Naninikip ang dibdib namin, nila Ma'am Lorraine, nila Atty. Topacio, nang bumaba kami kanina, at iniiwasan kong tingnan ang picket line and vigil line sa labas ng compound ng Davao Cathedral for more than 1 month sa tunga. Sa gitna ng init at ulan, ang mga taong ito ay nagsasakripisyo because believing na sila'y lulusubin muli. At hindi malayong maiwasan ang pangyayaring dadanak ang dugo dahil sa ganitong uri ng gaggawain ni Mr. Marcos. Wala kang ibang pwedeng singilin dito bago dumanak ang dugo. Huwag sanang mangyari yan. In the national broadcast right now, hindi ko maubos maisip na ang ganitong gobyernong tinulungan namin na bumalik kami at magtiwala na mapayapat, mabubuo ang isang gobyernong matino na binuo sa panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte, ay siyang gobyernong magtutulak muli sa amin na mawalan ng pagtitiwala at pagrespeto muli sa isang gobyernong demokratiko daw. Nakakalungkot po ito mga kaganapang ito sapagkat 50 years ago, itinakwil na po yan ng buong daigdig at ng mamamayan na huwag nang maulit ang mga enforced disappearances na ito. Considered ba na enforced disappearance at abduction ang nangyaring ito na ngayon ay nabubuking ang ginawa nila kay Miss Pauline Canada? Yes. At ito po'y nagaganap lamang sa pangil ng martial law. Mr. Marcos, hindi po lahat ng panahon ay swerte ang pang-aabuso mo nakakalusot. Ang kapulisan po ninyo ngayon ay nasasalang sa isang panahon na sinusukat po kung sila ba ay mapagkakatiwalaan pa bilang protektor ng mamamayan at ng batas at katarungan. Napakadelikado po ng sitwasyong ito. Huwag po ninyong ipilit na padanakin ang dugo sa Davao City. Huwag po, Mr. Marcos.
May mga legal actions po na ginagawa, no, yung pag-dakip ngayon kay Pauline Canada. Ito yung garapalan, no, na ilang ulit na pala tinawagan to confirm para may access po, no, sa lawyers po natin si Miss Pauline. Pero until now, dinideny po. Ganito po klaseng gobyerno, itong Marcos Jr. government na ito, na sinasabihan tayo na tayo yung sumunod sa batas, siya mismo po ang hindi sumusunod sa batas. Gagawin at gagawin talaga nila lahat hanggang makaabot sa ulo po sa aming mahal na pastor. Alam po namin yan. Yung 10 million, maging 30 million yan, parang kinupitan nyo pa kasi ang binigay, di ba, ng US is $2 million. Parang naibigay na ata. Kaya the way you answer yung simple question, parang kinakabahan ka na nagagalit ka, na nagigilaiti yung bibig po ninyo. Kasi nga, napipressure po kayo. Parang ganun na nga.
Baka iba yun. Yung iwi, iba yun.
Yun nga Kaya hindi ko malubos maisip na every time talungin po kayo na mga mahalagang issue, kagaya po nito, kami po dito sa KOJC, mga mamayan po kami ng bansang Pilipinas, every time na tanungin po kayo in these issues, itikong bibig, at ngayon lang po kayo nagsalita, hindi po po swak. Iba talagang takbo ng isipan sa lumalabas po ng bibig. Wala pong ka-logic-logic. And in this case po, na kami na po mismo naghahanap ng paraan para lang po makontak namin, masiguro namin kung saan na po si Miss Pauline Canada, wala po kaming natanggap po mula po sa inyo. Ito pong klaseng gobyerno meron tayo. Napakasakit po isipin na wala pong umiiral na batas sa bansang Pilipinas. Sila po ang naging batas. Ini-implement nila, kinukuha nila sa dahas, ini-implement nila lahat ng gusto nilang gawin para makuha kanila at mahawakan kanila sa liig. Pero dito po sa Kingdom of Jesus Christ, tatayuan at tatayuan po namin ito. Ito pong buong compound, sabi po ni Ka Eric, ulan, init, umaga, gabi, madaling araw, umaga na naman, wala po kaming alisan dyan. Kasi ito pong buong compound, pagmamay-ari po namin ito. Lahat po ng mga kingdom citizens sa buong sanlibutan. Blood, sweat, and tears po ang ginugol po namin para po magkaroon po kami ng compound na gito. And we treat this as holy ground. Kaya dyan po, ito po yung pagmamahal po namin. For how many times you came here, wala po ang subject nyo dito. Pilit nyo kayong bumabalik-balik dito kasi po nagka-interest po kayo sa mga compounds po namin. Gusto nyo pong kunin ang mga compound property po ng kingdom. Buong sanlibutan. Bilang kami may-ari po, lahat po ng kingdom citizenship, itaga nyo po sa bato, hindi po kayo makakaapak po dito.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, with what we've witnessed na nangyari kay Miss Pauline Canada and with the way the state is treating Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy as a perceived enemy and a threat to their political and personal interests, can the Filipino trust the Marcos administration's definition of justice?
Absolutely not. Now, Pauline Canada is so lucky that she is with SMNI and that KOJC is here and that there's a media group and that she has a lawyer. But a farmer na nasa hinterlands, na nasa bundok, na pwede lang i-pick up dyan, ginawa nga nila dito eh. Diba? Ginagawa nga nila kay Pastor, ginawa nga nila sa amin ni Eric. Nobody is safe right now under this president. That's as clear as we can get about what we're seeing right now. Napakaliwanag. Ito yung kung bakit tayo nagsasalita dito. Hindi tayo nagsasalita dahil lang para kay Pastor. None of this is just about us. This is about our country now. And it's about our children at yung salinlahing Pilipino. Pag hindi tayo lumaban dito at pag hindi tayo nagsalita dito sa abusadong ito, sa mga abusadong ito, lahat tayo, nobody is safe here now. No.
Thank you, Dr. Lorraine. Attorney Pasio, would you like to add?
Actually, talagang perversion of justice na nangyayari. Iwanan muna natin yung kay Miss Canada. Yun lamang usapin ng prangkisa ng SMNI. They keep repeating ang administrasyon na to, paulit-ulit na sinasabing, kanselado ang prangkisa ng SMNI. Hindi po kanselado ang prangkisa. Ang prangkisa po ay existing dahil may batas. Laws are only repealed by subsequent laws na inconsistent. Is there a law repealing the franchise of SMNI? There is none at the moment. What we have is a House bill passed by Congress that says that the franchise should, the law granting the franchise should be repealed. Is that a law? No. It is a House bill. Why? Because under our bicameral system of government, in order for that to become law, there are two other steps. Number one, it has to have the concurrence of the Senate. Number two, it has to be signed by the President. Okay, wala pa nga tayo dun sa second step sa Senado. Bakit hindi makapag-broadcast ang SMNI under the existing franchise dahil yung National Telecommunications Commission, an agency under the executive branch, meaning under the command and control of the President of the Republic, has imposed an indefinite suspension. This is illegal. Na kay Attorney Torion na yan, kung imamarapatin mo, the-please lamang, alam nyo po, ay hindi po pwede yung ginagawa ng NTC as a regulatory body to impose an indefinite suspension. Because if they do that, then they are trenching upon the prerogative of Congress to make laws. May batas by the simple expedient of the Commission under the Executive granting an indefinite suspension ay parang in-invalidate mo ang batas. This is an impermissible violation of the separation of powers whereby the operation of a law is left to the sole will of an executive agency. Ano yan? Undue delegation yan ng legislative powers. Pero ginagawa yan when the NTC should just be regulating, it cannot suspend the implementation of a law sapagkat nga ito ay nasa ilalim ng executive. So, dyan pa lang makikita nyo na na hindi na ginagalang ng executive ang batas. Ngunit dahil kontrolado nila ang at least yung pati ng House of the Senate ngayon, walang umaalma. Dapat mainsulto ang mga legislators. Sabihin nila, okay, kahit congressman, dapat mainsulto. Sabihin nila, bumoto nga kami to cancel pero hindi pa naman batas. There's still a law. That law should be implemented pero hindi po ginagawa. Paano gagawin natin ngayon kung ang batas ay ginagamitan ng naked power ng executive? So, paano tayo magtitiwala sa justice system? Paano mo sasabihin humarap ka sa batas when the law has been perverted and distorted? Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Attorney Topacio. Meron pa po magdadagdag? All right. We have another reporter po na magtatanong. Kasama po natin si Franco.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat. I just want to get back to this question dahil po it's very, it really raised significant concern in terms of our Constitution because it really undermines the rule of law. Yung pagtanggap po ng ating Pangulo, yung pagtanggap ng private donation for the bounty of pastor na 10 million, ano po ba ang implications nito pagdating sa ating justice system? Especially, Pangulo po siya ng bansa. Attorney Topacio.
Well, katulad nga po ng pagsagot namin kanina, I will be very brief about it kasi nagsalita na po kami. Kung hindi nakikita ng Pangulo na may problema rito sa ginagawa ng kanyang sekretary, ay malaki ang problema natin talaga. Kasi as a qualified political agent, the President has the prerogative to review, revise, amend, reverse, set aside any act of the cabinet secretary concerned being the alter ego of the President. Kapag kinokondone na niya yan, sinasanctionan na niya yan, he becomes complicit in the commission of a violation of law. So, talagang may problema na tayo. We are becoming a government not of laws, but of men. Na ang batas ay kung anong sabihin ng isang tao. Yan po ang delikado dyan. These encroachments, small encroachments upon the rule of law, pag nagtagal-tagal po yan, mawi-whittle away, dahan-dahan, kinakain, parang anay. Before we know it, yung structure that we call the rule of law, ay babagsak na po yan, magko-collapse na po yan. Lahat tayo, matatabunan yan.
Sir,
Secretary.
this is how powerful media really is, no? It was just a few, I think mga 1 hour lang nasabi natin yung Republic Act 7438. at saka under Section 4, kung hindi tayo bigyan ng access, no, at palaging i-deny, mag-merit yan ng penalty of imprisonment of 8 years to 10 years. Tsaka sa isa din, permanent absolute disqualification. Tsaka doon din sa isa, at least 4 years to 6 years. Eh, meron na, lumabas na. No? Ganda. Oo. Andyan na. Diniklara na nila. Kibuloy is co-accused in police custody. So, authorities caught Pauline Canada co-accused of Pastor Apollo Kibuloy at her residence in Emily Homes, Buhangin, Davao City on Thursday, July 11. Tapos ngayon,
sa bahay siya nahuli.
Sa bahay siya. At her residence in Emily Homes.
In other words, hindi nagtago.
Hindi nagtago. Tapos dito, identified Region 11's top 6 most wanted. Canada faces charges related to trafficking in persons. A joint operation conducted by the Police Regional 11, Special Action Force, and Criminal Investigation and Detection Group 11 led to her arrest at around 2 p.m. Canada is detained at the Buhangin Police Station pending further investigation. Official statements from PRO 11. Imagine 1 o'clock siya na dakip, alas 12 na dineclare. No? Alas 11.
Alas 11 ng hating gabi.
Alas 11 ng hating gabi. So, ano kayang ginawa niya for 11 hours or 10 hours, no? So, at least ngayon, ito ang power ng SMNI, no? Kasi nakita siguro nila, no ba? Delikado pala nito. Meron palang video. So, at least, diniklaran na, okay pala si Ma'am Pauline. At least, nakita namin buhay. Salamat po, alhamdulillah.
May I add something, no? May I add something?
Yes,
si Pauline kasi tinatanong kasi ni Bongbong Marcos, ano daw yung motives, diba? Tanong natin, anong motives mo dito? Yung panggigipit mo kay Pastor. It's political. Of course, there's America there. You're a lapdog of the Americans. But it's also political. Therefore, marami kang dinadawit na inosente dito. Looking at that mugshot of Pauline breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart. And I want to remind this president and everyone that's complicit in this injustice that you're doing to KOJC, what you're committing is a blood crime. And you're not gonna get past it. Magbabayad kayo dyan. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rain. Yes, Sir Jay.
May tanong lang ako, sandali. Kay Dr. Badoy. Kasi siya doktor dito eh. Alam mo, ang tagal ko nang iniisip ito. Hindi ko, at sa tagal ko na sa media, hindi ko pa rin mawari kung bakit nangyari itong lahat ng ito. Kasi kung tutuusin mo, nung tumatakbo si Mr. Marcos, darating dito sa KOJC, hating gabi, hapon, umaga, pabalik-balik, humihingi ng tulong sa Kingdom Nation kay Pastor Kibuloy. Binigyan siya ng pagkakataong makapagsalita on nationwide and worldwide television sa isang presidential debate. In other words, wala akong makita. It is, ewan ko kung tama ito, attorney, I think it is beyond the commerce of man, no? Itong nangyayari na yung taong lahat ng pagkakataong binigay sa iyo, ngayon ay, ginigipit mo. Gusto mong mabilanggo, pagkatapos naglagay ka ng pabuya, sinasabi mo lumabas ka para patayin ng mga dahil na may pabuya. So, I don't know, anong psychological o mental makeup ng mamang ito? Doc.
You know what I think? I think he's an empty vessel. Walang character itong taong ito. Now you look at him and he's really empty. He's vacuous. There's nothing in his head, nothing in his heart, nothing in his mind. Pastor was the kindest to him. When an SMNI treated him with respect. In fact, no other media company treated him with respect. In fact, he was called plunderer's son, etc. No, so you're asking me, no, bakit siya ganyan, di ba? Ano yung character nito? Again, it always comes back to me, the drug use, no? That's really, it's something that I cannot escape. I know people don't like to talk about it, no, but I cannot help but think about it because I look at him and how do you become that empty, such an empty vessel that it's not just pastor, no, but if you look at him now, you study him now, his fiercest and most bitter enemies are people who trusted and loved him, who gave their all to him. And why is that? Because as soon as they won, nilaglag nila sila, no? He turned his back on them without any thank you. In fact, in Okada, where Pastor spent 5,000 a plate for his party of around 100 people, 3 times, he never said thank you, no? But apart from 5,000 a plate, apart from the fact that elitists are really like that, no? Kala nila utang na loob, they feel entitled to it. I am looking at Bongbong Marcos and what I see is an empty vessel. He's soulless, he's heartless, he has no mind of his own, he's a puppet. And what comes to me is maybe that drug use, and also because that entitlement, which gets back to me, no? Yung mga anak ninyo, you think it's worth it? You stole billions, blood money, and look at your progeny, no? Such losers.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lorraine. May gusto po pong magdagdag? All right. Now, let's move on to another reporter na magtatanong din. Kasama din natin si Jason Rubrico.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to address this question po sa ating mga legal counsel, sa ating mga lawyers, because recently, si Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos, in a radio interview, claimed that the Kingdom of Jesus Christ last June 10, 2024, used children as human shields during po sa sinagawa po nilang operation. What is your response to these allegations?
Well, human shield is actually a term which is usually used in times of war. No? When the attacker launches an attack as against a civilian population or maybe the enemy, gagamitin yung mga bata as human shields. Hindi naman gera ito eh. Hindi gera, they were implementing a warrant of arrest. And had the warrant of arrest rules, no? Rule 1, facilities po ng kingdom ay tirahan din ng mga members. So normal lang na may mga bata doon. So they should have considered that in their plan of operation. Tinawag pa naman nilang Oplan Parokya. So kaya nga ang sabi ko, nung pinakomment ako doon, was there failure of intelligence? Ang sabi ko doon, lack of intelligence eh. There was really lack of intelligence kasi hindi nila na-consider na yung mga facilities po na inatake nila, no? Nabisitahan na nila previously, no? At wala naman si pastor doon, ay tirahan din ng mga membro. Siyempre may mga bata. Saan naman yung mga bata? Bigla na lang sila umatake doon. Akala ng mga bata, sino yun? Nagkataon na nandun yung parents nila, sasama sa parents nila. Kasalanan ba ng mga miyembro na yung mga bata nila nandun? Nandun sila nakatira eh. No? They were not used as human shields. They were simply there because they are living there. They reside there. That is their domicile. Yan po ang katotohanan po dyan.
Please add, okay? You know the thing with Benhur Abalos, no? He can say anything that he wants to say, but those videos don't lie. It really is the age of information, and you have to get that already, no? Did you see those photos? And again, I want to go back to those 2 indigenous peoples who died, our brothers and sisters. Dalawa namatay. And we have to keep on underlining that so that they know, no, that Bongbong Marcos, Benhur Abalos have blood on their hands. Okay.
Saka under international humanitarian law, yung human shield na yan, ginagamit yan in IHL, phrase yan siya that word or that phrase is usually used in times of war nga. Wala namang gira dito eh. Secretary naman. Ikaw naman nagbibiro ka siguro.
Ang pupulpul talaga ng mga ito.
Attorney.
Pasensya na. Nagbaka, naalimpungatan.
Attorney, would you consider that as ignorance of the law? I mean, using the term children as human shields.
Well, that is actually uttered in cases where there is war. And the fact that the Secretary of Interior and Local Government has used that word may not be entirely considered as ignorance of the law. Maybe lack of research lang po siguro. Lack of research lang siguro nun.
Gusto ko lang mag-respond dun kay Benher Abalos, yung sinabi niya yung children na human shield, as if he cared so much about those children. So, Secretary Abalos, meron ka bang order pag may mga bata? Kasi nga, you care so much about those children, right? You made that statement, you have a question like that. But did you have any orders to them that if there are children that you would not do what you did, what those policemen did? Hindi, di ba? Armed to their teeth. At pinagtutulak yung mga bata. So, orders mo yan. This is on you and on your president. Okay?
Dinakip pa. Dinakip, pinusasan pa, dinala dun sa presinto. Naku.
Makinig siya kay Kiko. Juvenal law. Mahilig sa bata si Secretary.
Ingat, sir.
Magbibigay akong reward.
Would you like to add, Ina?
Just to add po, no, ang nangyayari po kasi, itong si Abalos, ginagawa niya pong tagapagligtas yung sarili niya sa mga imaginary victims niya. Para itong mga komunista yung gagawa sila ng mga problema nilang senaryo, hindi naman talaga nag-exist. Kung baga ginagawa nilang bida yung sarili nila, human shield. Mga bata, nakita niyo naman po sa video nung ginawa po ninyo. Ito yung nagbubulag-bulagan po kayo, huling-huli na nga kayo. Lalo niya lang po binabaon yung mga sarili niyo dyan sa mga hukay. My God, Abalos. Baka, Doc Loren, kailangan din siguro magpa-check nito ni Secretary Abalos. Tulad ng panawagan natin na magpa-drug test itong si Bongbong Marcos.
Yes, Cardo.
Yes, may dagdag lang po. Kasi di ba sabi ni Abalos na pinag-aralan talaga nilang mabuti. So, alam niya na may paaralan dito. Alam din niya na simbahan ito. Pamilya-pamilya may mga bata po ito. So, no wonder po na hindi sila sumusunod sa batas, itong Secretary Abalos, kasi yung ulo nila, si Bongbong Marcos, hindi sumusunod sa batas. At saka, minsan-minsan, suminghot din kayo ng sariwang hangin. Kasi hindi po nila alam yung sinasabi po nila eh. Hindi talaga nila alam ang pinagsasabi po nila. And to justify, puro mali-mali, patong-patong na po yung mali. Hindi po kayo nakahalata sa panagsasabi nyo. And for the welfare of the children, si Pastor po ang number 1 po na may malaking pag-ibig sa mga bata. May record po ba na napakain nyo ilang milyong kabataan? And I'm calling also itong si Hontiveros. Ito, crusader din to eh. Tagapagtanggol dito. Hero daw to ng mga welfare ng kababayan kabataan. Nung nakita niyo po yung raid, Madam Hontiveros, dati-dati kahit isa lang may inabuso dyan, to the rescue po kayo. Ito po, napakaraming kabataan, kababaihan, matanda at bata. Ni isang comment, wala po kaming narinig sa inyo. Ito ba'y patas? Sabi mo, wala kang kinikiling, wala kang pinipili. Basta ang karapatan ng kababaihan at kabataan, nandyan ka. Tingnan po natin, hanggang ngayon, wala po kaming narinig sa iyo. Ito po yung totoong inabuso. Hindi po inabuso. Yung nagbabayad po kayo ng mga false witness dyan, na sabi na inabuso. Hindi po. Ito po yung totoong inabuso. May namatay po na eyepiece. Na trauma po ang mga kabataan, ang mga matanda, ang mga kababaihan po. Na abuso po. Saan po ang tinig ninyo, Hontiveros?
Thank you very much.
Ma'am,
yes,
i-emphasize lang natin yung human shields, bakit medyo lack of research talaga. Kasi in times of war, a combatant can only kill a fellow combatant. Ayan. There must be a legitimate military objective and military targets. So if you are armed, then you are a legitimate military objective. If you use civilians, youth, and children, then they are the human shields. Ang ibig ba nila sabihin, nung pumunta sila dito sa JMC, lahat kayo, sir, mga kombatant? Yung mga estudyante, kombatant yun? Yung mga members dito na mga matatanda, kombatant sila? Doon sa Glory Mountain, yung mga member na mga matatanda na sinamahan ng mga bata, combatants ba po sila? Kalaban ba po sila? Such that they would use their children as the human shield. They were implementing a warrant of arrest. So therefore, if they were implementing a warrant of arrest, they were implementing the mandate of the law supposedly, and Rule 113 Section 11 should have been followed. Sir, next time, bago po kayo siguro, press con, research siguro muna konti. Thank you po.
Thank you very much, Attorney Torion. Sir, meron po kami natanggap na information na may balak lumusob dito sa mga religious compounds ulit ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Pero, NPA po ang lulusob at mga retired generals. What's your take on this, Attorney, sa ating legal counsel po, on that possibility na hindi naman police ang retired police at mga miyembro ng NPA ang lulusob naman sa mga compounds, religious compounds. Okay. Is this because of the bounty?
Pwede. Kaya nga illegal yung kasi hindi nga nag-comply under na Polcom Memorandum Circulars. Pero i-remind natin sila, no? The arrest of a person pursuant to a warrant is a sovereign function that cannot be delegated, no? However noble may be your intention is, wala na po tayo sa panahon ni Clint Eastwood, yung sa Texas noon, pag may bounty, may mga dala-dala na mga bounty hunters. Hindi po yan po pwede po dito because we are governed by law. And the arrest, as a general rule, can only be implemented by the police authorities. Yung citizen's arrest nga, supposedly, as a general rule, applies only in flagrante delicto cases. Pag may warrant na, I doubt if that can be applied. Because that is supposedly to be implemented by persons of authorities, no? So, who are authorized by law to implement it. I don't know. I may be mistaken, pero imagine, kung merong warrant of arrest yung kapatid mo, NPA na mag-implement ngayon, naku naman, saan nila i-turn over yung tao? Doon sa judge. Kasi you are supposed to make a return of the warrant of arrest, no? And that has to be done, that has to be returned to the court which issued the warrant po.
Yes,
if I may just add, yun nga ang puntos na ginawa ko, the point that I raised doon sa isang interview ko, by putting up such an unwarranted and unprecedentedly high bounty or reward, you make the subject of the warrant fair game for everyone who wants to earn 10 million. In other words, you put a target on his back. You endanger his life. Yun ang sinasabi ko. Di ba ayaw na ayaw nila, involved si Lorraine dyan, ayaw nila ng red tagging, di ba? Kasi daw, na-endanger yung life nung nire-red tag mo, baka saktan, etc. Bago ito, bibigyan mo 10 milyon na bounty na wala namang justification under the law, na bawal pa nga under the law, na disproportionate dun sa crimes for which he's charged. By the way, I must remind everyone, may mga nag-interview yung pilosopo, but he's charged with such and such a crime. Lagi ko sinasabi sa nila, sinabi na ng Supreme Court, accusation is not synonymous with guilt. At every stage, a person is presumed innocent. Ngayon, ilalagay mo in danger, nasaan na ang rule of law? You're putting people in danger. Yun ang problema dyan. Private person pa. So, right now, any person who has a grudge against any person accused of any crime can just donate 20, 30 million. Sige, arrestuhin nyo yan. Unahin nyo yan. And then, he's even protected by a lack of disclosure on the part of a government official whose duty it is to disclose such information because they refer to matters of public concern. And the discharge of the duty, sinasabi nga ni Attorney Bobet na sovereign duty, is definitely a matter of public concern. Hindi mo pwedeng itago yan. Hindi mo pwedeng itago yan. There is transparency with respect to those situations as mandated by the Constitution itself.